You wander the world, searching, longing, reaching, always chasing something that seems just beyond your grasp. You call it love. But what if the pursuit itself is what keeps it away? What if love is not something to be found, but something to be remembered, awakened, embodied? Rumi, the 13th century Persian mystic, never saw love as a treasure buried in another's heart. He saw it as the essence already humming within your own chest. His poetry whispers, "What you seek is seeking you." And yet, most people spend their lives running in circles, mistaking desire for devotion and yearning for something that can't be held with hands. To truly understand love, Rumi suggests, you must first unlearn everything the world told you it was. Love isn't the whirlwind of passion you see in stories. It isn't a checklist of qualities to match with your own. It's not the validation you earn through perfection. Love is the soft fire that's always been flickering inside of you. It asks not to be hunted, but to be revealed. Don't chase love, Rumi might say with a smile. Become it. What does it mean to become love? It means that instead of standing in the cold, knocking on someone else's door, you become the home. You become the warmth. You become the space where others feel safe, enough to be seen. This is not about attracting love through strategy. It's about remembering that love is your nature. You don't fall in love. You return to it. You return to that eternal wellspring from which kindness flows. When Rumi says, "Close your eyes, fall in love, stay there," he's not speaking of infatuation. He's speaking of abiding in a state where love isn't an event, but a presence, a way of being. This shift is radical because it demands that you stop seeking and start becoming. It asks that you stop asking the world to fill your emptiness and instead begin to overflow. Imagine a river rushing endlessly, not because it needs to impress the ocean, but because flowing is simply what it does. That is how love works when you become it. It moves through you effortlessly, without needing to be earned or reciprocated. But how do you become love? First, you soften. You allow your defenses to melt. All the walls you've built around your heart, brick by brick, memory by memory, they must fall. Rumi writes, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." This is the sacred work of healing, not so that someone will finally choose you, but so you no longer abandon yourself. Next, you learn the art of presence. Love is not in the grand gestures. It's not even in the words. It's in the way you listen, the way you breathe when someone speaks their truth, the way you hold silence like it's music. Love is attention without condition. It is presence without agenda. To become love, you must also learn to be alone, not as punishment, but as communion. Solitude is where you meet the divine within you. It's where you become intimate with your own soul. Rumi spent years in silence and separation, not because he feared the world, but because he wanted to merge with what lies beneath it. He wrote, "Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open?" That prison, often, is the belief that love lives elsewhere, that it's something another must give you. But the door opens the moment you realize you are the giver. There's a quiet confidence in those who have become love. They no longer perform, they no longer chase, they no longer grasp. They simply shine. And that light, being pure and steady, draws others who resonate, not out of need, but out of recognition. Love, in its truest form, does not cling. It allows, it witnesses, it celebrates, and it lets go when needed. Becoming love means trusting that whatever leaves you was never truly yours, and whatever remains does so freely. This path is not for the faint of heart. It requires a kind of death, the death of your old self, the one who thought love was scarce and needed to be controlled. But on the other side of that letting go, there is peace, there is clarity, there is freedom. Rumi's journey through grief, through longing, through his mystical connection with Shams of Tabriz, all led him to one truth. Love is not an emotion. It's a frequency, a vibration, a state of being that exists when ego dissolves. When you become love, even your pain becomes sacred. You no longer run from your scars. You hold them like precious relics. You understand that each wound cracked you open, letting more light in. Rumi said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you. So you no longer shame your suffering. You no longer hide your sorrow. Instead, you wear them as badges of courage, not to boast, but to say, 'I have been broken, and I have loved anyway.'" Becoming love also means becoming forgiveness. Not because others deserve it, but because you do. You free yourself from bitterness, from old grudges, from the heavy chains of should-haves. You walk lighter, you laugh easier. And finally, becoming love is not about changing the world. It's about changing how you move through it. When you embody love, your presence becomes a balm. Your words become soft bridges. Your silence becomes a sanctuary. You don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need applause. You don't need proof. You are no longer a beggar for crumbs of affection. You are the feast. In a world obsessed with validation, becoming love is a quiet rebellion. You refuse to commodify your worth. You remember who you were before the world told you who to be. So stop chasing love. Stop knocking on doors that don't open. Stop waiting for someone to complete you. Become the space where love lives. Be the fire. Be the home. Be the river. Because when you become love, you're never alone. You are the presence that others seek. You are the answer you once begged for. And you realize, perhaps for the first time, that love was never lost. It was always right here, within you, waiting to be remembered. In the words of Rumi, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? So rise and love, not as a search, but as a return.